Honourable Darren Hughes.
Mr Speaker, the Labour opposition is in support of Government Notice Motion number 4 to establish a special committee of the House to consider legislation regarding the electoral system and also for a subsequent bill for a regime on electoral finance. We concur with the comments made by the Leader of the House that it was important that all parties were represented on this committee, sir, and the motion has been worded in a way that reflects that. Anyone observing the makeup of the committee in terms of numbers would see, sir, that the numbers are not strictly proportional, but on this occasion that is not a matter that comes to the immediate bother of the opposition, but such as the nature of the way in which the business of this committee will be conducted. The Leader of the House quite rightly says that there's an enormous effort being made by political parties to ensure that there is agreement on these topics. Parliament and our electoral system works at its best where there is consensus across the House about the rules of engagement, about how the system should take place. And I believe, sir, there is very genuine effort underway in this respect. The Leader of the House mentioned the Justice Minister, Simon Power. He's worked very closely with our Justice spokesperson, the Honourable Leanne Dalzell, in order to make sure that the bill that was introduced today, the electoral referendum bill, has as many points of agreement in it as can be possible. Now, clearly, sir, there will not be 100% agreement, but I think what's clear, what is hopefully clear to the House, is that every party is going into this process seeking that total agreement. We would like to be able to report this back to the House with a great degree of unanimity across the Parliament, which is why it's so important that all parties are represented. Sir, there was some concern raised by Labour about the nature of the motion that's been put before the House, particularly the ability of the Select Committee to meet at any time. And I was very pleased in subsequent discussions with the Leader of the House that he's given me the assurance, and he's just given it to the House, that provision will not be abused to have the committee meeting morning, noon and night at any time. That has been our criticism of other legislation, particularly that around Auckland governance, where the committee just met too often and was having to rush through. I think Mr Twyford will correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes the meeting is scheduled for 12 hours in a day, and including on a Saturday. Now, not that anyone shies from hard work here, sir, but it's very hard when considering submissions from the public, which have been well thought out, to try and rush through those, and there's no way anyone can listen for 12 hours in a row and possibly remember absolutely everything they were told. It's so important for the credibility and the confidence of the public that this process be handled with great integrity, and so I'm glad that the Leader of the House has given us that assurance that authority or the flexibility that we are likely to vote to this special committee will not be misused in any way. Also, sir, I understand it's not the government's intention to have a minister chair this committee. This will be chaired by a member of Parliament, and I strongly welcome that, sir, that is a much better process for a select committee of this nature. In closing, sir, I would also make reference to the work the Parliamentary Service Commission is doing to align the rules for parliamentary expenditure alongside the rules for electoral financing and for the money that can be spent, or the way money can be spent promoting electoral referendums. We want to try and line up the rules that the Parliamentary Service Commission has to follow by way of the Speaker's directions and the legislation for the referendum and for electoral finance. I'm very confident we'll be able to do that and maintain a consistent definition of parliamentary purposes, which all fits into this wider topic. So there's a lot of work to be done to get this right, but I'm very confident that with the goodwill of all the parties in the House, we can do this. And then once we've got the rules correct, we can focus on the policy differences that we have around the different electoral systems that are being promoted in the referendum. And if we can make sure the debate in our country is focused on those issues of substance rather than sniping about issues of process, then I believe that will result in an excellent debate which will serve the people of the country. And so therefore Labour will be supporting the government's notice of motion to establish this committee. Well, you know, I was going to finish by giving a bit of praise to the Honourable Jerry Brownlee, because he's had a particularly rough week, but he in the spirit of bipartisanship, he puts a little nasty little dig across the chamber there, and it makes me just not want to do it. It's the last chance I'll get to say Happy Easter to him, and so I wish him all the very best in that particular regard. Thank you, sir.
I call Dr. Russell.